when the protest is being organized by a known someone who has political interest, doesn't that taint the protest in this, like, the look of the protest is already tainted because that protest is sort of like being led by Take It Back movement. Showore contested, you know, at a point in time. And because of that, if he leads a protest, it's no longer a protest about whatever it is, about the fact that this is a political partial person. Do you think that could have influenced the response the protesters got?
So when the agendas are read out, it's about, you know, bad policies, the hardship and all of that. So Showore, yes, contested, but we're not in election season. This is not immediately post-election that you think he's contesting the office. We are contesting a lot of things, and it might be in preparation for the next election where you're sensitizing the people to not vote the same people who are in charge of government into office. But this is not one of such. I think that this protest, wherever it is valid. Around the world right now, there are protests. There's a Take It Back. What are they telling the capitalists in America now? Is it Take It Back or let it go? They say hands off. What's that? Hands off to the capitalists who Elon Musk and the president who are, you know, obviously gluttoning over the resources of the US. And so there are protests are happening around the world. So I must give kudos the flowers of Lagos State. Lagos State, come and collect your flowers, because what we saw in Rivers State did not happen in Lagos. Lagos has been burnt before, and they have seen it. So what their police and NSCDC and the neighborhood watch did, you see them, they were the ones protecting protesters, and they did the entire work with them, supporting them. The last time they had a protest in August, I think the August 1st one, the commissioner of police then, they brought water, food, everything, and joined the protest. Because what Lagos has experienced is that if people are going to hijack a protest, there's a possibility that they are looking to blame the police for that hijack, which is what happened during NSAS. There was already sensitizing. Governor was warning. The governor was the first to engage. He was warning that, you know, this was possibly hijack, and we cannot pretend that this is Nigeria. This is not America. People usually try to hijack. What we suffered, what we went through during that protest, we know that there were, you know, unseen elements behind it. Yes, so we know. So we cannot even play down that fact. But Lagos has now learned that this is when they are on opposing ends trying to fight those people that the innocent suffer. So now they join the innocent and protest when people are tired and they go back, or that the matters are resolved. And so, which is what I saw. I watched the news carefully yesterday to see whether any such will happen, and it didn't happen here. But in Rivers State, it happened to the extent that, as YK said, sister station, how will I call it, another station's journalists had to be saying, I'm not, you know, in trying to report it, you know, and the police, in their usual manner, of course, were doing that. And they had military involved. Protests are in democratic setting, because we are not in Saudi Arabia, we are not in an Emirate, because the Muslims will now say Nyma is supporting protests.
And we are not in military.
We are not in an, you know, in Emirates, in Islamic, protests are not encouraged. That's not the way to reach your government. But this is Nigeria, and we practice democracy, and we practice the presidential system copied from the US, where activism, protesting, and all of that were the standard of the day. And so that is how you influence policy change, you influence policy review, or you influence policy at all. And so people will do protests. And when they do it here, it should be, you know, allowed and permitted, and guidelines should be put in place, including safety measures. In case there should be a fire ambulance, in case of anything, there should be medical ambulances, hospital ambulances, in case of any medical need. And I'll encourage that protest till the decision makers listen and change whatever the people want changed. Because we are not in office.
Before you go, I'm just going to say something. I want us to remember in 2011, during the fuel subsidy riots, most of the leaders that are in government today were inside that protest that time. They were marching. And nobody disturbed them from their protests. In fact, we were all involved. Me myself, I went to the protest ground